What's up? I guess I'm talking. Uh, this is, I guess, the first video for of Heroes and Men. It's I guess the channel I'm starting because I like stories of heroes. I'm an actor, and I've always been drawn to the old Greek tales, and uh, obviously I was a fan of some comic books and stuff when I was younger. Um, but definitely things like Swords and Sandals films. Gladiator was definitely a movie for me that uh, really stuck out to me. And obviously, Gladiator isn't true, but in terms of reality, I think guys like Julius Caesar and Christopher Columbus and Benjamin Franklin and countless other men that have done, Thomas Edison for sure, countless other men that have done things that have been extraordinary. And have really changed the world or pushed humanity forward. Another one that comes to mind, obviously, is Alexander the Great. And, I think it's really important, especially as men, for us to understand that we don't only exist in a vacuum, that we are part of a continuum, that we belong to a lineage of men that have done great things and pushed mankind forward and have pushed the envelope and have done great things and horrible things, and have really served to make something of themselves. And those are the guys that always appeal to me. Not only historical figures, obviously guys that have lived more recently right now. I'm thinking about Elon Musk, obviously. And I think that him trying to go to Mars is, well, he's going to go to Mars. He'll get there. I think it's such an extraordinary thing because, I don't know how, I don't really know how often people dream that big. People say they do, and they flex on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. But when do they really? When do they really do that? I find a lot of people hating now on people doing things that are remarkable that we've never done. And personally, I think that's just a reflection of the individual. I don't think it's um, I don't think it's a reflection of the person actually doing the great thing. But we're living in an age now where we're sort of, it's like feels over reels and emotionalism, and courage isn't really a thing that I hear much about. Neither is virtue. Um, in essence, really the masculine virtues. Um, Courage is one of them for sure. Uh, Rational thought, logical thought, problem solving, um, harnessed aggression, harnessed violence, um, all the things that have made men men throughout all of human history. They're sort of vilified, or at least derided and pushed to the side in some weird way, as if the great pillars of civilization are held up by, I don't know, flowers and rainbows and butterflies. These things, this thing that I'm speaking from a computer, and there's a camera in the computer, and I'm lit up. There are lights around me, and I'm in a safe environment where I'm really not in any immediate danger. Like, this was all paid for in blood. And for whatever reason, we seem to have forgotten that, or we want to rewrite history and say, like, the lives of these men that died, sacrificed their lives and suffered so that we could all have this. And somehow that is no longer valid. I grew up like everyone else, well, like a lot of people. I was very fortunate. My parents are immigrants, and, you know, I've seen firsthand the benefits of America, what American can provide, um, and what it means to live in a country where we have access to pretty much anything we want, where even the poorest people are the fattest. It's like crazy. Calories since the beginning of time have been the one problem man has tried to solve, and then we solved it so well that the poorest of us have the most excess of calories. I just think it's remarkable. It's just such a crazy time to be living in right now. But the point of this YouTube channel is called Of Heroes and Men, and I'm going to be reviewing stories of old, stories of heroes and great men. And, we'll see where this journey takes me. I am I'm optimistic that this is the right thing. And there are a lot of guys in the space, right? I guess you call it the masculine space or masculine YouTube or whatever the fuck. But um, I'm gonna put my dent in the universe, as Richard Cooper says. And as time progresses, too, this is also a platform. I'm an actor, and part of the reason why I want to go on my own, really, and do my own thing is so I can tell the stories I want to tell. I've been very underwhelmed with a lot of what's been produced in the past, 10 or so years. And I don't think that's attributed to me getting older or whatever. I think a lot of it has to do with uh, we've just grown underwhelmed. Well, underwhelming as a society, really. I think mediocrity is the norm. Maybe it was always the norm. Maybe that's just what it was. But, I read books that are older than 50 years. And even the way that the artists communicated their message is far richer. I read the Iliad um, and Homer's Odyssey a couple of weeks ago. And I mean, the rage of Achilles is just such an extraordinary part of that story. And the part where he goes on that killing spree is like, you notice, you could feel viscerally how quickly people were killed, how quickly they died, how close to death they always were. And I think that's something that we take for granted in our modern society. Like, we understand death exists, but we're sort of sheltered from it, really. If you think about it, back when they were living, I mean, city states were fighting constantly. Like, it was nonstop. These guys were, you were always in danger of getting raided, getting killed. Uh, and that must have been both terrifying and exhilarating. You had to be training all the time. And, men were armed. Um, it was a very dangerous time. But I read the Greeks, and they had this understanding of human nature that, from my vantage point, and maybe I just could be biased or wrong, but I'm doing my best to observe it in this greater society, is we seem to want to turn away from. We seem to want to sort of put it away, and that's a mistake, because our nature, we're animals. Our nature doesn't just go away. Like, it gets suppressed, but then it comes out in periods of anger, periods of anguish, periods of sadness, periods of, when our defenses are down. And if we're not careful, these things, they come up to the surface, and they're very ugly. So this is what it is. I mean, this is a YouTube channel for men. Um, women are obviously welcome, but I'm going to be talking about things for men, about men, and I want I want men to get from this. Ultimately, the understanding is that we are part of a continuum. We are part of a brotherhood that's as old as time. And while we are alive, the whatever 70, 80, 90 years, whatever it is that we're on this planet, it's a very short amount of time, and in the grand scheme of things. Um, but it's also more than enough time. But probably the more important point is this is our watch. Like we're the sentinels on watch now. And if we start falling asleep, at the walls, at the gate, then we get overrun. So it's my first video. Enjoy and look out for more. Thank you. Peace.